Hello again. So, here we are. As you can tell, it's getting cold outside, so I'm all bundled up. That being said, it's time for another recollection. I believe number 8, to be precise. So, once again, the source book that I'm utilizing is Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, which is created by the show and company Critical Role. And then I'm playing D&D 5th edition, or the campaign rules that we're going by are D&D 5th edition, created, or not created, but owned by Wizards of the Coast. So with that, it is Recollection number 8. So now, once again, we're going to keep this going the same way I have been, because it's been cutting down on the time I spend on these. So, at this point, the party is about to make their exit from the Menagerie Coast by heading east through a tunnel that passes under the Cyrios Mountains. Now, at this moment, the party has lost Dolemon, who, for personal reasons, couldn't continue on with the campaign. So, he came up with it. He was a funny guy. So, true to his character, he was forgotten by the party because he got so drunk at the Boned Fish Tavern that he could not be roused from his stupor. So, the party, barely knowing him, left him there. Now, the party has already crossed the river back to the east side to reach the tunnel entrance, where they discover signs of a raid on a caravan by some arcane assailant. Now, Vexen can tell, due to his ranger subclass and backstory, that this was an aerial attack from a blue chromatic dragon. A large one at that. Now, the earth is blackened by what appears to be lightning strikes in rapid succession, so that basically gives it off to him. Essentially, dragons all use different kinds of elemental breaths, right? So blue dragons, for whatever reason, they emit lightning with their breath rather than a red dragon who does fire. So with that, and he can tell just from the blast radius of the burned and blackened ground that there is definitely this was a large one. So, what's more, Vorkeef and Wick, they, through their investigation, recognize that that the caravan wagons that were left behind belong to the very same caravan that they were traveling with, Berro Stoneturner, the dwarf. So, Xander is able to tell that not all were slain. From there, Nox's kid asks his bees, basically. He just pops off his hat and the bees come out. I think the lead one's name is Bumble. I think they're all somehow rhyme with the word Bumble. But Bumble is the leader. So, essentially, he named them all. And so, essentially, Nox's kid asks his bees to find the trail of those who escaped, which it happens that they sought refuge inside the tunnel, obviously, to get away from the dragon. Now, unfortunately, the tunnel is large enough for a dragon to crawl in, which, according to Vexen, there are clear signs of. So now, as a low-level party, they have to contend with what appears to be an adult blue dragon. So, kind of exciting for a low-level party. They're like, oh man, it's about to get bad in here. Anyways, let's see here, next page. All right. So, from there, the party journeys in to the Cyrios Mountain Tunnel. And if you hear a bunch of noise, it's because I'm surrounded by trucks. I had nowhere quiet to park. Anyways, the Cyrios Mountain Tunnels, where they find, after about 1 hour's worth of actually traveling through the tunnel in the dark, that they can actually see thanks to Vorkeef's Twilight Cleric class features. Essentially what they come to is there is a great collapse in the tunnel, or more like the floor collapses out. It wasn't that the ceiling of the tunnel collapsed down and caved it in, it was actually that the floor gave way. And what they discover is in this massive collapse, there appears to be creating a sort of ruined pathway to a great expanse of the Underdark. So, the collapsed tunnel has landed on what appears to be some old, ruined Duergar fort. Now, Duergar are just dwarves that live in the Underdark, all right? They have kind of purplish gray skin, like, or darkened sort of skin like the Drow, and they have primarily white hair, and they have some features and abilities. I think they can, like, go invisible. Anyways, so essentially the collapse just destroys this old Duergar fort that now only has what appears to be a partially collapsed wall that remains. Now beyond the wall is a cavern with two large, two pathways essentially. One is a large tunnel pathway that it appears to have been made by what is called a purple worm centuries ago, because it's smooth. It's like a smoothly bored tunnel. And they're like, that's probably like a wormhole, like a worm tunnel, a tunnel that was made by a gigantic worm monster. And then the other path is a cavern pathway that goes off in a sort of different direction, but it's not made by the worm. It's just like a regular tunnel. Anyways, after this discovery, the party hears crackling of electricity and a loud, low growl, and claws stomping on the ground from the other side of the collapsed section of the tunnel. And thankfully, due to the dark vision of the party and the crackling electricity that is arcing off this creature, it reveals the adult blue dragon, just precisely what they feared. So, seeing this, they're like, oh boy, here we go. So the adult blue dragon on the other side, dragons are pretty powerful in this game, as you know. Dungeons and Dragons are pretty much the peak. So, the dragon can smell and sense the party, but hasn't spotted them. Now, the dragon reveals himself as Chasmnoth, and he has a very deep voice like this. And he is, in his own words, the Lord of the Cyrios Mountains. But yeah, he followed the caravan into the mountain tunnel to finish them off. His size and weight, unfortunately for them, caused the tunnel to collapse, it seems, and it revealed the Underdark below. Now, instead of following them, he's waiting them out, right? Because they're not going to survive down in the Underdark. The Underdark is incredibly dangerous for surface dwellers. So, he's just waiting there, just biding his time. He's a dragon. He can wait a long time. So, with that, Vexen knows that blue dragons can burrow. So following the caravan would have been no problem in the Underdark. So he's like, yeah, this guy's just waiting. Chasmnoth, the dragon, is just waiting. Because he knows whoever wants to get from the Menagerie Coast to the Dwendalian Empire has got to come through this tunnel. So with that, the party, seeing no way around him, decide to sneak their way down the collapsed area into the Underdark. And they start to sneak down, but Nox's kid fails his stealth check. And so the party, thinking quick on their feet here, cause a distraction using cantrips and physical elements to basically draw Chasmnoth's attention while Nox's kid safely makes his way down to the party. Now, the party, deciding to take the tunnel created by the purple worm centuries ago, they discover, after walking down it for a while, that it leads to a massive cavern that has 2 large ponds in it that they can see because of their dark vision. They can kind of see the light glittering off of it. And the party also discovers that there is a loud tapping noise echoing throughout the cavern. Now, those that are familiar with this game and know, all sorts of stuff about D&D, they know what this is. But for those who don't, the noise mysteriously sounds like a form of communication, which leads the party to believe it is a creature or a group of them. And with that, that is pretty much where we're in this session, or this recollection. But yeah, so the party is basically down in the Underdark trying to find Berro Stoneturner, and they're definitely concerned and worried that they might have just sealed their fate, just the same as the caravan goers. So, we'll see. But with that, till next time. All right, bye.